Rumble
Can
won't kick us
we
off.
go really controversial? Like you said, you want to get spicy. Are we
Okay.
going to bring up the fact that it was Trump who pushed the vaccine in the first place and Trump who locked us down in the
Oh,
first place?
oh, absolutely. I actually have the video all queued up and ready
Oh,
to go.
well, look at
So
you already with this.
it's almost like I had this
We didn't
planned out.
practice this. We didn't. We didn't.
No,
This
this
wasn't
wasn't
a
a bit
pre-plan.
like we practiced. So, yeah, Trump released a video. I don't know when it was on X. Um, he
So he's
still says
back.
he. No, this
He's
is his
back on.
team. This is his Team Trump account.
Okay.
Although he'd share his mugshot as of 2 days ago on Twitter, so
Right.
he's sort of back on X, but he's not all the way back because if you look
Well,
at
he's
his
willing to produce videos for it and just let his team. Okay.
yeah,
So go ahead.
it's Team Trump. It's not Trump himself. It's almost like his pseudo account. Like he's still tweeting everything through Team Trump, but he's also like he's not personally tweeting, even though he just personally tweeted
So
his
it's like
mugshot.
we have an M&M, Slim Shady M&M situation going on here.
Exactly. Yeah. Which identity? It's like Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines sort of
I was
situation.
going to say that when he did that movie. And
That's an old reference. If you don't remember the Garth Brooks Chris
really
Gaines,
old.
you have to be like an old school country fan to remember that. And then he did a performance on SNL, and everyone's like, "This is weird. What's going on here?" We came to see Garth Brooks sing "Friends in Low Places." All right, so this is a video he just released. I don't know how. Oh, as of yesterday, he released it. So let's watch and see what Trump has to say.
Wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not let it happen. When I'm back in the White House, I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think the people are loving the fact that there's a community note under it that says the Trump administration, along with other federal agencies, began the lockdown social distancing rules in 2020. President Trump issued national guidelines that include closing schools and avoiding bars, restaurants, and groups of more than 10. And the comments are just priceless.
Comments are gold.
There's a lot of
read
good
the
comments. First one is, "This is beyond hilarious." Community notes with another headshot. Remember when you gave Fauci and Birx the presidential medals of commendation? Good times. Let's see. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, say huh." A lot of people are rooting for him. "We will never comply." "I've never voted harder in favor of a community note." Anyway,
I'm gonna throw something out. I'm gonna get myself canceled.
okay.
Could it be that enough Republicans were angry about the lockdowns, the mask mandates, and the vaccine mandates, still fresh in their minds and hearts, and didn't vote for Trump?
In 2020?
Yes.
I think, and this goes hand in hand with the the last episode we did, which was about the presidential debate and that Trump did not go debate, there's a lot of people who I think have a valid concern and issue with how Trump handled 2020. I think there's a valid concern there. And a lot of people want him to answer for what he did.
Yes.
And
An apology?
To say, maybe, I put the wrong people in place. Maybe I shouldn't have trusted Fauci and Dr. Birx. Maybe I shouldn't have put out these national guidelines regarding lockdowns and stay-at-home orders. And while people can get into the sort of, I get it, the technicality of like, well, technically the federal government can't lock you down. It has to be your state that actually issued it. But the states followed the federal guidance that Fauci and Dr. Birx and the Trump administration put out. So once he put that out, he sort of let open Pandora's box and let these Democrat governors run wild with a lot of these state of emergencies to tell people to stay at home. And at that point, it was too late. Like, once you let that happen, it was just too late, and Trump couldn't put it back in the box. But again, it's odd that now he's taking a tough stance on it, when in 2020, you were the president of the United States and you could have taken more action. And I think a lot of people are frustrated with that about Trump. Now, all of a sudden, he has a video where he says, I'll defund or I'll take away funding for these federal agencies that impose mask mandates. You could have done that in 2020 if that was that serious. Right. You had the ability to do so. You could have fired Fauci. You could have done a lot of things. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback after you're not president anymore and say, oh, well, my base thinks this is really popular and this really resonates with them well, so I'm going to say it like this. But also ignore the fact that I was the sort of grandfather of all of it in 2020. And I know we're probably going to get some hate for it, but it's true. He started it all. And if it wasn't for Trump and his guidelines and and lockdown procedures and all that, we wouldn't even be talking about lockdowns and mask mandates at this point. So it would, maybe states would have done their own thing, but there wouldn't have been this unified lockdown, mask mandates, and all that stuff. So, I think it's kind of ironic that he's now coming out super tough about lockdowns and using it as a political point when he started it in 2020.
Yeah. Right.